immigration update for you here on Kababayan LA, and you know what that means. This is time for American Dream segment.
This American Dream segment is brought to you by Aquino & Lowe Law Firm, answering your immigration questions.
Attorney Allison Aquino of Aquino & Lowe Law Firm, American Dream. We talk about that always on the show. Is it still real? Because I keep hearing about the American nightmare because of everything that's happening with the economy and all that.
Well, it is a difficult time in our history for our nation, but the United States will always offer hope and promise and opportunities for individuals who come here to the United States, so it will always be an American dream.
And there's still a lot of individuals coming here to the United States, and even some that were petitioned long time ago, many years ago, their priority dates are now just becoming current.
Yes,
right?
It does take a long time, and so people are still looking forward to coming here to the United States.
And so many people are still asking, and that is why we encourage you to send in your questions to us here on the show, and Attorney Allison Aquino or Attorney Richard Lowe are going to be answering those questions for you for free. So that's the email. Take advantage. Kababayan@la18.tv. In fact, I have an email here, question from a viewer. It says, I was petitioned by my mother as an unmarried child. Due to the long wait, I got married while waiting for my green card, but did not notify USCIS. I was successfully able to obtain my green card based on my mother's petition. My wife is still in the Philippines. Will I have a problem petitioning her to come to the U.S. as a legal permanent resident? And the answer is...
Unfortunately, yes. And so because the answer is yes, and essentially the answer is yes because the person should have never received the green card to begin with.
Right.
And so there is a concern that if he goes through the petition process for his wife, that he will not only encounter problems for his green card, but of course encounter problems for his wife's petition.
Okay, first of all, let me backtrack a bit. So due to the long wait, I got married while waiting for my green card, but did not notify USCIS. Are you obliged to notify USCIS when you get married and you say, hey, I have a standing petition, pending petition, but I got married?
Yes, you do.
Oh.
And when you submit the application to immigration or to the U.S. Embassy, one of the questions is, what is your marital status?
Oh.
And so naturally, if you indicate single and you're married, that's a lie, and that's considered fraud by the U.S. government.
And how serious is that?
Well, it's extremely serious because they know, or individuals in that situation know, that if you do properly put that you're married, you're not going to receive your green card. And so when the individual later on either decides to apply for citizenship or tries to proceed with petitioning a wife or any children, immigration may determine that they want to try to take the person's green card away. And in all likelihood, they will try to take the person's green card away. And so unfortunately, a lot of people try to fix the problem by committing even more fraud.
Which is?
Which a lot of people in the Philippines, unfortunately, what they try to do is go back, get married a second time, hide the first marriage, and then try to proceed simply on the second marriage.
Okay.
And that is the absolute worst thing that anyone can do, because you cannot commit a mistake by you cannot correct a mistake by making another mistake. And immigration will forgive one instance of fraud. They may forgive one instance of fraud, but if you commit a second instance of fraud, you can forget about ever being granted any type of fraud waiver.
Will they get caught, though, if they conceal the first wedding, if it's to the same person?
There is always a possibility that they're going to get caught. And the government, the U.S. Embassy and the government here, they are very well aware of the opportunities available in the Philippines, for example, to try to hide a first marriage or try to get a second certificate. So they know the common schemes. And they do know, and they have, they have investigations, and they know how to uncover those type of frauds.
So what happens now? What kind of relief is available to those that couldn't wait anymore and just had to get married but still wants to come here?
So if they were successful the first time in getting the green card by not revealing the fraud, what they need to do is to reveal that either in the either in the context of a citizenship or somehow get that to the government so that immigration knows. Well, no, later on after you're here in the United States and you want to try to fix it. The only way in order to fix it is by seeking an application called a 237 waiver. So a 237 waiver is a fraud waiver. It's an application that can only be applied in front of an immigration judge. And essentially what the immigration judge does is well, first of all, you have to have a qualifying relative. So you do have to have either a parent, spouse, or child who's either a U.S. citizen or a green card holder.
So most probably the person who petitioned you,
Precisely.
Right? Okay.
Correct.
And then?
And so presuming that you have that qualifying relative, then what the judge will do is balance the good things about you versus the bad things about you. So the bad is obviously the one instance of fraud.
Right.
And that's why 2 instances of fraud really make a bad.
Okay.
And the judge will also take a look at any other negative factors, such as perhaps any criminal histories, if you haven't been paying taxes.
How about traffic violations?
Traffic violations are rather insignificant unless there are many traffic violations or there are, for example, DUIs.
Right, okay.
And then they'll balance that with any favorable equities, such as the length of time you have been here in the United States, the extent of family you have here in the U.S.
Properties
are properties.
Okay.
If you have a good job history, shows that you've integrated into the U.S. society, and also any contributions that an individual has made to the community.
Okay.
So with that, they want to volunteer, they want to participate in any organizations that benefit the U.S.
And once you do that, it doesn't automatically mean that you're able to petition for your wife or husband in the Philippines, right?
Well, it does, because if the judge grants your 237 waiver, then your record is clean, and therefore you can go ahead and move forward with the petitions for anyone else.
Right.
And since that fraud had already been dealt with and taken care of, then you should not encounter problems in future petitions.
How about if, say, for example, you're petitioned by a parent and you're here, and then you want to do this 237 waiver, but by then the parent sadly has already passed?
That's the difficult part, because you also don't want to move forward with a waiver too soon, because there are certain problems with that as well.
Right.
And so you do or should perhaps wait a little bit length of time, but if you wait too long, then that is the dilemma about the qualifying relative.
Right, but is there relief to them if the petitioner dies?
Technically, no, there are legal arguments that can be made, but those legal arguments have shown to be unsuccessful.
Right.
So you do need to move forward. Hopefully you have other qualifying relatives.
And that is why legal arguments, let Aquino and Low Law Firm help you with that. We are accepting questions from you if you want to have them answer those questions. Kababayan at la18.tv, and of course their law office. Call now and schedule your appointment. Thank you so much, and more power to you.
Thank you, Janelle.
If you also want more information, you may log on to their website, www.akinolaw.net. We will be back for more on Kababayan LA. Don't go away.